Let's see here. We've gone live yet. It looks like it says it is, but is it really happening? Can you see it, Darryl?
I can only see your screen that says we're live. I can't see. Let's see. I'll get the tag right here. Looks like we are.
Awesome, awesome. Happy Wednesday afternoon. This is Carrie Sparks with Pioneer Title. I'm your Arizona title gal. I can reach at 602-715-5704. If you don't have a current relationship with anyone at Pioneer Title, I'd love to be that person that you call. So I'm never too busy to work with somebody. Just absolutely love what I do. Today is a really special day. My business coach, Darryl Turner, is on today. And we're going to talk about what he sees for title insurance sales, kind of the industry. What does it mean to be a salesperson in the housing industry? How do we kind of look at it? Before Darryl and I went live, I was talking a little bit with him about, we thought that 2020 was going to be this, I always have a business plan all made up, and it was going to be 2020 vision, and it was going to be exciting and wonderful. And then things just kind of changed really rapidly. We learned how to pivot. It redefined 2020 vision. I really don't like the term new normal or post COVID-19 so much, but I think 2020 vision has been redefined very quickly. And it's been a year that we've had to really redefine how we communicate, how we approach sales, all that kind of stuff. So I wanted Darryl to kind of walk us through some of the old stuff that we looked at, where things were. And he's been an amazing resource to me in so many different ways, with redefining like kind of the where we're at with thriving, surviving, and dying, and all kinds of stuff. So Darryl, if you could kind of introduce yourself, because you're actually a nationally known speaker, motivator, and coach. So I'm just hats off to you always. You've been such a big part of me surviving through this and thriving.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on your show.
I guess we have to bring up Cool Beans with Carrie and just call it what it is.
Right. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Yeah, we've worked with hundreds of thousands of individuals across the country and internationally for the last 25 and a half years. I guess this September, our little tiny company that we started in 1994 turns 26 years old. So we have been through many markets, ups, downs, sideways, everything you can imagine. And right now, what we are doing and what we have people doing across the country, which you're quite aware of, is really kind of leading the pack, or at least making serious progress in spite of all obstacles, which there are always a few, right?
A lot of obstacles right now.
So
learning to bob and weave here.
Yeah, we're learning to bob. You mentioned that you don't like the term new normal.
No.
Tell me why.
I think it's been already made very generic, and it's an easy way. It's kind of the easy verbiage out. And for the people that have really sat in the situation, I think, and assessed it and said, okay, here are my facts, here are my tools and my strategies. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop out and redefine what I do. I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm going to ask the questions. I'm going to, I did a survey monkey. I found out what my customers and my prospects expected from me, and I put them in play. And most people have, if you're on Facebook, I'm hearing comments like you can't hardly turn on Facebook or really any of the social media channels without seeing me. And that's not really what I was looking to do 90 days ago. But it's what's happened, it's what it's evolved, is people want to have access to information. Like you were talking about content with us several months ago. And, I am content. And one of the other things that you've talked about is I will not go back. And where we were 20 years ago when I got into the industry, I came out of, the mortgage industry into title. And I remember my first day on the job with a very large underwriter. The gal that recruited me gave me a very large spreadsheet. And my training was go find these people.
Mm.
There really wasn't much of the computer to look up or MTA and see all that. You had to go and just figure out who you wanted to work with, who wanted to work with you, and just start running with it. New normal, it just seems very vanilla in a world that I don't live in. I don't understand that. I think it's too easy.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back in time, okay? Because the reason
Oh,
I ask you about why you don't like the term new normal, a lot of people don't like it. Some of our coaches, we had conversations inside of our company. Some of our coaches are like, and I don't really like that term. But here's what's really incredible. What 2020 is radically different than many people thought it was going to be, right? In fact, it's probably safe to say it's quite different than anybody thought it was going to be. However, the one thing that 2020 has in common with any other year is we didn't know what's coming. In 1999, we didn't know what was coming in 2000. In 2005, we didn't know what was coming in 2006. And so, a lot of people are running around using that term new normal. I think every day is your new normal, right? Whatever today holds, because here's a term that everybody's been using, adapt, right? Everybody's been talking about adapting, and we need to adapt, and that's kind of true. But what we really need to be doing is creating the successful environment that other people have to adapt to. Okay. Instead of letting something come our way, like what's going on right now and what happened March, April, and May, and saying we have to adapt. No, we have to look forward, and we have to create a business model that takes us into the future and not just one that gets us through today. Does that make sense?
oh gosh, yeah.
So it's always the new normal. And like I said at the end of our family reunion big Zoom we did earlier today, the future belongs to those of us that are bold enough to create it. And so it's not just about adapting, and it's not just about pivoting. Okay, it's about being proactive and being on the front end of everything that is happening and is going to happen. You before we went live on your show, you mentioned some terms I use: thrive, survive, or dive. Okay,
Those
and
have been really important. And as I've talked with my customers through this, those three words and the definitions that go along with them have been powerful thoughts. And I know that when I've mentioned them to people, they've had to kind of slow down and think
yeah,
it through exactly, because most of the people that I know are not fortunate enough to have a business coach like I do. And so they're just functioning on autopilot, or I don't know. I mean, I still listen to very positive audios every morning, because another thing you say is garbage in, garbage in. And all that I know, right? I do listen, right? Um, but those thoughts that I put into my head every day as I get ready and, sit down at my desk and begin my calls and my emails and whatever it is that the tasks are on my schedule that day, I'm really trying very hard to make sure that what I'm watching, what I'm listening to, and who I surround myself with are positive people.
yes. So let me speak right to your viewers here, I guess, or right to our viewers today. Stop trying to survive through this. Okay, I mean, everybody's saying to one another, "We'll survive this together." Look, we never set out in life to survive anything. All right, we're designed to create, be proactive, and I'm going to challenge everybody to start changing the way they say that. Hey, we'll thrive through this together. But in order to thrive through it together, we have to be ahead of adapting and pivoting. We have to be creating. We have to be coming up with strategies for the first time for others, first time for us, that actually will forge the future, so that every day becomes a new normal. It's interesting. We at Raquel and I have a lot of kids, and we have a lot of kids. And one of the things that, as we're raising kids, and most of them are older now, but we still have some younger ones. One of the things I can remember back with like my oldest son, he's going to be 35 here in July, and I have my daughters. I have two more in their late 20s, and one of the things I always talk to them about is, what are you seeking today? What are you seeking today? Human nature, your nature, my nature, if left unchecked, we'll fall for this. We seek comfort. Okay. We seek to be comfortable. And so when people are saying, we'll survive this together and this is a new normal, subconsciously they're seeking some comfort in the way things are right now. But here's the problem with seeking comfort. When we seek comfort, we will reap discomfort, because we'll make bad decisions trying to be comfortable. And those bad decisions will create a discomfort. But if we're willing to accept the fact that we're dealing with sets of circumstances every day that are unique to us, unique to the world, unique to those around us, and we have to create a business model, something that allows us to forge ahead, right? We are now accepting the uncomfortable today. And the result of accepting the uncomfortable today is actually comfort in the future. All the hard things we have to do, all the tough choices, all the big decisions, all the long days, all the creativity, all the things that we have to do to really stay at the head of our game. And I'm not, look, you have a good life, I have a good life. We like our lives, right? But if we found out today that it was never going to be better than it is right now, we would be so it'd be a depressing thought, even though we like our lives.
You started talking about that several family reunions back.
Yeah.
And when I'm referring to a family reunion, Darryl and his coaching team have a weekly, pretty much every week, coaching from across the country, which is really awesome because we can draw from the experience of different people in different markets, some rural, some urban, some suburban, some new, some are, longtime veterans, and just be able to do that. And when you said that for the first time, I remember it had to sink in. What if it never changed back?
Right.
And so some of the things that I have been working on in my days, what are my tasks of continuing to be, what am I doing every day to be valuable to the company that I represent, is I've had to just go, if it doesn't change back, how am I going to continue to have the momentum that I've created pre this situation and keep going? Because I personally, in just my philosophy, is I take on a great deal of ownership and responsibility, as I think I should, to the escrow officers, teams, branches in the company that I represent. And so if I'm not out there doing my job and bringing in new customers and asking for the business, then I'm not doing I'm not doing my job.
Yeah.
And it's very important to me to provide value to everyone that's in my work world, as well as my home life.
Right.
And keep it balanced.
Well, everybody's talking about how much they want it, or a lot of people are talking about how much they want it to go back to normal. Back to normal. Look, I didn't wake up this morning saying, how can I go back in time? Because if I did, this would be my phone. Okay? This would be my phone. And, I prefer this. All right. So I don't want to go back in time, although there are many uncomfortable aspects of what's happening in the world today. But remember, it's accepting the uncomfortable and building plans to thrive in those times, not survive, that creates the comfort in the future. And it's, I don't know about you, but I can tell you, when I'm comfortable, I start to worry. Okay. I start when it seems like everything is comfortable to me, I personally feel like I'm in a bad spot, because it means I'm not pushing myself the same way at that point in time in which I might coach other people. Right. So, and not to say every day for the rest of your life you should be uncomfortable. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is we accept the uncomfortable and we create plans to thrive in those times. I think, here's a great example. If I could teach you to jump 10 feet in the air, which I can't, but if I could teach you to jump 10 feet in the air, you could jump 2 feet in the air all day with your eyes closed.
Right.
Right. Okay. So if we accept this and we can thrive in these times, everything else is easier. Everything else is easier, and people are saying, like, I was interviewed last week or the week before somebody asked me about, uh, being relevant, remaining relevant, and you mentioned that word before we went live on your show today. Little inside joke that I keep throwing out there, um, but here, let's talk about relevance. How do you remain relevant?
It's the whole thing's redefined. Um, I I mentioned that I had a gal ask me last week for the very first time a question, and I talk with hundreds of people, and I mean I've worked with thousands of realtors and loan officers,
Uh-huh.
and she asked me, she was going to meet with me under the circumstance that I could articulate what I've done over the last 90 days to become a better salesperson, I could bring more value than before this whole thing changed. And it was so cool because I remember sitting there and going, you know what? I am so excited that you asked me that question, because there's an abundance of things that I have done. And so we met in person this week, social distancing, of course. And
Did you have your Pioneer title mask on?
I have not gotten one yet. Haven't had it yet. I have some really cute ones though. But I spent time with her, and I didn't bring like a portfolio with me. I spent the first time, I always believe in the interview format, so I need to listen to her first. And what have you done? Ask the right questions. And she wanted to know about so much technology because she'd seen me on Facebook. She had seen the things that I've been doing to provide value, and she wanted to become a part of it. And I started talking about the different platforms that I've learned about. I've learned through different, whether it's a YouTube class or whether it's Zoom classes, what have you learned? And that was really interesting. And I was so excited that I spent an hour and a half talking her through all these different things to help her improve her business, that honestly, 90 days ago, I would not have been up to speed on them. I knew enough in that world to be really good at what I did, but now I've added more tools to my toolbox to sharpen it. So I've listened to the economists. I've listened to you. As we start coming out, they're saying, and at least in my market, that we aren't just going to turn on slowly. They've been right in saying it's going to turn on and come very fast. And so we're rebounding. Thank goodness the news is starting to reflect some of that.
Right.
But it's really neat and exciting for me to be able to go out and have these conversations. And I told you, I mean, I have another appointment this week with a gal who found me off my social media again. And she's a team lead for a very large national real estate company. And she can't wait to sit down and do a snapback business plan with me, which is something that you've talked about.
Yes. So here's something that you're kind of touching on a little bit, and I think I'd like to take a minute to really help all the viewers today and whoever watches this in the future, because there are some things. One really, really big reason for people to be excited right now, and when I say people, it could be lenders, it could be real estate professionals, it could be title people. There's anybody in business to business sales, and probably anybody in sales in general, but they don't realize that there's this giant reason to be excited. Okay, and let me just share this with you. In order to remain relevant, we have to always bring value. And by you talking about listening to people, you understand what's important to them. Value is only that which exceeds an expectation. Okay,
Right.
and so, but what we have to remember is value is very dynamic. So what is a value today to you is going to be different than someone else today, and your value definition might be different tomorrow because it's based on your current set of circumstances. But let me give you the definition of value, or the way I see value, and then I'm going to tell you why everybody should be super excited. Okay, our value, real estate agents, lenders, title people, home warranty people, our value is solely determined by the size of the problems we solve for our customers and prospects. Okay, now let me ask you this. In your career, have your customers and prospects ever had a bigger problem than they have right now?
I don't recall one.
Therefore, your opportunity to be of value has never been greater than it is right now. Value is determined by the size of the problems we solve for our customers and prospects. The problems people have today are gigantic. Therefore, our ability to provide value is bigger than it's ever been before in most of the viewers' careers, right? Which means they will be relevant. But if you're not good at listening, interviewing and listening and finding out what's important to the person you're talking to, then you'll never figure out what their problems are, what they're faced with, what their fears are. You'll never be able to figure out how to overcome them. And so I think personally, we have to accept the fact that every day is a new normal. Every day creates a new opportunity to get ahead of the curve, right? Every day creates an opportunity for us to be relevant if we will be devoted to gaining the knowledge of what's important to the people we're talking to. Like relationships, marriages, okay? We've all heard, marriage is 50-50, right? But that's the wrong answer. Marriage is 100-100, right? Any healthy marriage is 100-100. And it isn't 50-50 because nobody ever finds that 50. It's 100-100, which means I have to know what's important to Raquel so that I can make sure that I am fulfilling that to my ability to be able to do that, which means I have to be a listener. And I'm a guy, which makes that already difficult, okay? And so, but that's what it boils down to. And relevance, if the viewers right now are taking any notes at all, relevance, period, okay? But that's created by what? Bringing value. You're relevant if you bring value. And again, our value is solely determined by the size of the problems we solve for our customers and prospects. There's never been a better time for real estate professionals around the country to be relevant in the marketplace. There's never been a better period of time for lenders, for title reps, for home warranty people, for anybody that's in sales to be more relevant. There's never been a time to be more relevant than right now, to bring more value than right now. And frankly, that fires me up. But the reason I tagged onto the new normal thing that you brought up in the beginning is when people are saying this is the new normal, what they're saying is, I'm trying to find comfort right now, which means they're going to be in trouble in business, because to seek comfort basically breeds discomfort. But to accept the discomfort and the challenges as our triggers, or to be put on notice that our business model maybe is behind the curve and not creating the curve, right? We're either going to create the plan or we're going to adapt to somebody else's.
I think I'm probably in a good place, probably better than most when it comes to the snapback business planning, because, and you've walked me through this now for a couple of years, is that every year I work hard, like for months, to work on my business plan, to really fine tune it, to have a lot of thought put into it. I talk about it with enough people that I can be held accountable to it. And so when it came to really knowing what my strengths were and what my weaknesses were, I had that written down for years about the different things that I can do to provide value. And I had things in play of, I had a list of books for enrichment. I had all these things that were already written down,
Yeah,
that were just put in motion. And thank goodness for the people that have stepped up and helped me almost every single day with a Facebook Live to provide value. Because again, like I mentioned, I did a survey monkey and I asked people, and this was kind of interesting, is I asked them what they were looking for from me. And it was only now this week that people have wanted to know more about their business plan, but they were wanting to know more about marketing strategies and things like that. But they're wanting to do that more than they wanted to create the plan. So I've been happy to hear from my realtors and loan officers that they're ready to get back to creating a roadmap, because I'm here for that.
That's the only way to be ahead. Remember, our goal is not to survive through anything. It's to thrive through everything. And we only thrive when we're the ones creating our plan, when we're the ones creating our business plan, right? And I'm not talking about the plan for our whole life. There's many other influences in that regard, but I'm talking about when we're creating what we're going to do. The reason that I get so excited is that I understand nobody controls the future of your business more than you do. Nobody controls the future of my business more than I do. So if I let the market dictate to me, if I let conditions dictate to me, then I find I'm subconsciously seeking comfort again. Very dangerous spot to be in. Okay, very dangerous spot to be in. So the key, the statement of the day is we will thrive through this together.
You know, so many people who know me know that I reference my dad a lot when it comes to my influences. Okay. And, you know, the word influencer out there can be used very, very loosely nowadays. My father was my father is still here. I love him. I just talked to him. But he has, through my career in sales, guided me with some really good tools for my toolbox about caring about people, being very authentic, but also in just looking back. My dad had a really awesome, I grew up really cool with in Minneapolis with in the clothing industry, and they were part of a chain of clothing stores. And I watched my dad and my mother work extraordinarily hard 7 days a week, thriving through so much. And then the 80s recession hit, and my dad sold out of the stores and completely reinvented himself. And in his first year in his new profession, became in the top 2% in the world. And the tools, as my dad has downsized the house, he's given me 2 briefcases, he's given me his little pointer stick. And so it's like props around my house to remind me of perseverance. And it's really important that you have those people in your world to really reference and look up to and to keep pushing you.
So let's create a couple of maybe a hashtag.
Okay.
It's probably already out there, but how about hashtag we will thrive through this together?
I love it.
How about adding it to, how about challenging your viewers to put that line in their email signature?
Hashtag, repeat it again, please.
We will thrive through this together. Not we will survive this together. We will thrive through this together. Email signature, add it in. We will thrive through this together. We have to set a new standard. We have to rise above just dealing with stuff that comes our way. We you know, this, like I said in the beginning, what makes 2020, there is one thing that makes 2020 like any other year. The year before that year, we didn't know what was coming in either.
Right.
So we didn't know this was coming. We don't know what's coming in 2021. And if we accept the fact that we need to be proactive in our business all the time and understand the value principle and the relevance principle, and anytime there's big problems in a market, there's big opportunities to be of value. As long as we're always focused on that and we're not trying to just get comfortable, you know, there's a point in time later today, you know, Raquel and I live on this beautiful lake in California. Later today, I'm going to find some comfort out on our dock. Okay. I'm going to get to the point that I earn a boat ride maybe. Okay. But my goal in life is not to figure out how I can be comfortable every moment of the day, because I know what that brings. It brings a tragedy, right? Because to seek comfort all the time is going to always, people are always looking for and I'm going to say it and I hope I don't offend anybody, or maybe I hope I do. Maybe it'll set in, but people are looking for the lazy way through things in many situations. And personally, I could be guilty of that too. I'm human. We all could be guilty.
Darryl, one of the first books when this whole thing happened, because I had my enrichment list, as I went back and I reread Who Moved My Cheese. And it has been, this whole experience has been Who Moved My Cheese in motion. And for those people who have not read it, there is a cute little YouTube that you can do that's all of like 15 minutes long about the mice. And it's really right now about my cheese got moved, but I went and found it. And I kept going and working it and working the plan. And I just appreciate each and every person who has continued to follow me through this time, all of my customers. And, you know, what a compliment to the people that have reached out to me from social media and said, I want to work with you now. People that I've never met before. And it's really been quite the experience. And I really hope that people are thriving rather than surviving.
Yes.
But if somebody is out there and would like some help getting toward, if they're surviving and they want to thrive and I can be of service to them, put me to work.
Right.
I'm here.
So and I'll just kind of wrap up my portion with a response to Who Moved My Cheese. Maybe one of the best books I've ever read. And there may be viewers right now that have never read the book. You have to, or go to the YouTube video. But here's what I really want to leave everyone with. This is the thought that I think we all have to realize so we can create. Okay? Your cheese and my cheese and every viewer's cheese has always been, is currently, and will always be on wheels. To think for a second that your cheese doesn't have wheels underneath it is to fool yourself into being in the pursuit of yesterday. None of us, look, come on. Does that speak any louder? Okay. You know, none of us really want to be in a situation where new things don't come our way, but not every new thing is good. And if we're going to shut off new things, we shut off any new thing. Your cheese has always been, is currently, and will always be on wheels. Be thankful for that. Realize it is not only moving all the time, it's moving right now. While you're watching this right now, something is changing. And if we don't change faster than the some things that change in our life, we will fall behind. So take that to the bank, folks. Your cheese is on wheels. How about that for a hashtag?
Yeah, I'll have to write that one down and put it below. Darryl, thank you. I know how incredibly valuable your time is, and I really appreciate it. And I hope that the people that have watched this and will watch this, because all these videos that I do get pushed out to my YouTube channel for permanent hosting, as well as I push them out to LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. They all get it from me. Pinterest, you name it, it's there.
So wait a minute, you're saying I could be famous after this?
You could be famous because you
I'm
were
in.
the show.
I'm so in.
I suppose I need to actually come up with it really official if I'm going to turn my podcast, which is Cool Beans with Carrie, into like my show,
right,
or rename this like live stuff. So we'll figure it out. But I hope and I pray that everyone is safe and healthy and going toward thriving if you're not already there.
Yeah.
If you're not, I want to be that person that you call so I can make a difference in your world and in your business. So in closing, again, thank you, Darryl.
Thanks,
I'm
Carrie.
Carrie Sparks with Pioneer Title, and I can be reached at 602-715-5704. Again, have a beautiful day. And Darryl, thank you so much.
Thanks,
and hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Let's do it.
Thanks, Darryl.
Take care.